Introduce our guest and let you know that she is a native of Bamberg, South Carolina. She's the daughter of Indian immigrants. Her first job is keeping the books in her family's clothing store at age 13. We see her as a governor, but she's also a mom and she's also a military wife. And that's a lot of roles to have to try to blend together. She and her husband Michael, who's currently serving our country overseas, have 2 children. Rena is 15, Nayland is 12, and they attend the Mount Horeb United Methodist Church in Lexington. Please stand and join me in giving a warm Georgetown welcome for our governor.
Great day in South Carolina. I will tell you, when we came to Georgetown a few weeks ago, I'm not going to lie, it was devastating. I thought I was prepared for what I was going to see, and it was heartbreaking to see what had happened on Front Street. What was amazing was to see how this community came together. It really was. And I was there the day after the fire, and you had crowds of people in support. You had people who had gone and gotten supplies for the firefighters. It really was a testament to, when we have a disaster, how quickly we come back together for the good of the cause. And so I'm back here today. When I leave here, we're headed back to Front Street to meet with all the leaders just to make sure everything is moving as forward. When the fire happened, we completely went into rapid response mode, which was, I came down here to see what we needed. What we identified quickly was that we weren't going to qualify for FEMA funds or anything like this because it wasn't a natural disaster. I called the federal delegation to see if there was anything historically, through historic grants, that we could do. There wasn't anything there. We worked with your chamber and First Citizens, which were just stellar in starting that Front Street Fund. And I will tell you, as soon as we got the word out from Columbia, the number of people from around the state that wanted to help was amazing. Immediately, I got a call from Darlington Raceway saying, can you give me the address? How do we give? I got a call from Ben Arnold Distributors saying, how can we give? And there were so many more that did that. I called in all of my directors. We called in Dwayne Parrish, Director of Tourism. He came to Georgetown. You will see us spending close to $20,000 on advertising Georgetown. We're also coming up with a business plan for this next year to really push tourism to families for what can be done. We called the Department of Commerce. I had Bobby Hitt and his team come down here, and for the first time, I signed an executive order that will give $1 million in grants to qualifying groups that will really allow us to kind of fix what insurance wouldn't. It was all those things that we knew needed to be fixed, that we knew that they didn't have insurance to do. My Director of Employment and Workforce, Cheryl Stanton, came down within the next week. She quickly made sure that we were dealing with the displaced workers that had lost their jobs, but we also made sure that all of the unemployment charges stopped for those businesses that were burned. We went further than that. Department of Revenue, we quickly got in there with them, and we're working with that. I think we had a restaurant in town that needed its license back right away. We got that done. So what I'm saying is our cabinet really stepped up at a time that we needed. Shane Ray, our state fire marshal, I don't think has left Georgetown. I think he's decided to live here. But, all of those things came together. But the nice part of it was, even when I got it out on Facebook about the boat show, I put it out there and we said, they've gone through a tough time. Everybody needs to support them. Everybody take a trip to Georgetown. The number of calls that came in from around the state wanting to come to Georgetown just to show their support was just overwhelming. And I hope you know that, because it was nice for me to see the fact that it wasn't just the region here. It was the entire state that said, one of our own is hurting. What can we do to fix it? I think the good news in all of it is that you are going to see Georgetown recover better than it was before. I want to make this an opportunity to say, how can we highlight Georgetown even more? How can we make sure that we add a new aspect of it, that we create new industry from it, that we find more tourism opportunities from it? Because I think we can turn what was a tragedy into something that's a very good opportunity. So we will continue to do that. I will continue to keep coming back until we are rebuilt, but I continue to stress, and I would ask all of you to stress to our friends around the state, that Georgetown is open for business, because we have a lot of businesses that are still left there and a lot of businesses that are open, and we need to make sure we're doing all we can. For those that have asked about Michael, yes, he is still deployed in Afghanistan. We are hoping he will get home before Christmas. It's been a long year, but he is doing great. My kids are great. One just turned 12. He loves basketball. My daughter is a cheerleader. She turned 15, and she's floating through life, and I'm trying to get her to float with a textbook. So we'll see.
We've already talked about the Port of Georgetown, which of course is extremely important to our community. When I was in the legislature, we passed an act which provided that there be a resident member on the not only Georgetown, but I believe, I know Charleston and Beaufort County as well. My senior law partner, Jimmy Moore, was on the Ports Authority for 30 years. He was appointed and reappointed by both Democratic and Republican governors. I'm a resident of Georgetown. Frankly, I don't know who the resident member of the State Ports Authority is from Georgetown County.
Dave Posett, that's right, who is doing an amazing job for us. You know, what I can tell you is to do all we can, but that is also why I say I want to see if we can come up with another business plan for Georgetown. Keep working on the ports, but let's do some other things with Georgetown. I want to make sure that we're getting more jobs in here faster, and whether that's manufacturing, and you're seeing that come in, or whether that's some other things with tourism. I think there's more we can be doing with Georgetown besides just the only focus being the ports.
Well, it's like to me that those of us that live in this community would know who he was. But in any event, I hope you will appoint a business person from Georgetown who is familiar with the port, who's lived here all of his life or thereabouts, and can solve the problems that we need to solve.
Thank you.
I like the way you think as far as rural communities are concerned. I'm actually running for an office in Andrews. I think your campaign passed Andrews, South Carolina, away from Georgetown. And on November 5th, I'm expecting to fill a position for city council. And starting that day, I would like to work with our governor and kind of come up with a very rural community, has many challenges, but I'm ready to go.
Rural communities have a lot to offer, and I knew that from growing up in Bamberg. We didn't know what we didn't have, but what we did do was we took care of each other. What I think now is we need to start looking at highlighting these, because we've got these companies, when they go into these rural communities, they absolutely love it because they're getting all of the attention and they want to be a part of something. I've got a company that we're going to announce on Halloween. He is coming from New Jersey. He is moving into a town you're not going to believe. He is moving his wife into this town, and he said, we want to become a part of this community. And that's exactly what I want. It takes me a little bit longer to do that. We're introducing them to areas that if we just bring one company to a town, it makes a town. And so our focus is very much on doing that. And the communities, I will tell you, I've never seen a Team South Carolina spirit like we have right now. The locals, the county, the state, the feds, everybody's working together. There's no one that's giving me a hard time as I'm pushing and as I'm selling.